Well, greetings, people of the internet. Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today, stay tuned. We're going to put that switch back into service. You know, the broken one that's not broken, but was broken, but yeah, anyway. You see, boys and girls, once upon a time there was a magic switch. It was a no, it's not a Netgear. It's a Ubiquiti. That's right. A Ubiquiti edge switch, a 500 watt PoE switch that this client you had. If you've been following a day in the life episodes, you know that the switch failed. We brought it in here. It booted up. We couldn't get it to work. We ended up doing a factory reset on it. We got the switch up and running. Well, I ran the switch here. It's been here over a month. Ran it. Didn't have any runs, drips, or errors. So I gave the client the opportunity. I said, look, do you want to put this switch back in service? Or do you want to keep the two 24-port switches that we have in place right now? Because at the time, we were unable to get a 48-port PoE switch. Well, the customer has elected, after explaining to him what might possibly go wrong with this switch in the future, to go ahead and put it back into service. And then we'll leave the other two 24-port switches in the rack just in case, and instruct his end user on how to, move the cables up from one switch to another. So that's what this episode of A Day in the Life is all about. Plus, we're going to complete the cabling at this job. Pretty things up. So come on, let's get it started right now. All right, so here is the patch panel that I'm going to be removing, and I've already removed some of the wire ties off of it. So I'm going to be removing this patch panel, and we're going to go with keystone jacks. Now all those cables up there, those are no longer in use. These are all connections we've replaced with new Cat 6, so they'll be going bye-bye. I'm going to leave them disconnected for a week or two, and then we'll clip them up in the ceiling once we've determined for sure we don't need them anymore. I'm going to focus on putting new keystone jacks on all these connections, and then we can get the keystone panel in there. I'm trying to keep the network up as much as I can, but in other words, all the servers plugged in. But anything that doesn't need to be plugged in is not going to be, because I also need to put in our new rack whatchamacallits, rack screws. What do they call those things? Here, let's go look. Meanwhile, I got these guys up on Discord. They're keeping an eye on the work I'm doing. Say hi, guys. Hey, guys. See? It's real. It's alive. It's my new laptop, by the way. More about that later. But I got to put these in too. So these rack studs. So there's the rack studs I'll be installing. And here's the new keystone patch panel I'll be installing. And then here are the new keystone jacks that I've ordered. These are TrendNet. I love these things. I wired, all those I wired the other day didn't have a single bad connection. So we're going with those. I think I have a few left here. I have some patch cables. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I have a bag of some of these connectors. So I'm going to take those in there and get started with these, get them wired, and we'll go from there. Oh, and I'm going to need a pen. Where's my Marks a Lot? Uh-oh. You know what? I left my red one at home. That's right, the black one will work. Need to have one with a good tip on it. It's always something. Just the tip. Yeah. Hang on. Oh, why won't you come off there? Now, that one has no tip at all. That's what we call a stubby. There's one with a tip. Alright. So we'll take that, and we'll go in there and wire our panel. I'll be back later. Okay, so I'm using these rack studs, so let me show you how these go in. Well, let me show you how I think they go in. I've already got a couple of them mounted for the switches I'm going to mount. So basically they go in, and then the yellow covers go over the top of them. So you're supposed to, according to the directions, insert, you see that little spring clip, toward the inside. So I'm going to put one right here, put it in at a 45-degree angle, and then you hear it snap. And then this little chingadero, you see that little clip? So that little clip goes in here, just like this. I'm on a ladder while I'm showing you this, so cut me some slack. Alright, so there we go. That's how they go in there. So 3 more of those, and then I'm going to start mount my switches. You see I got my patch panel already wired. Alright, so back up on the ladder. So there you go. They're in there. It's holding them. You can see it's a big switch, little switch. And yeah, it worked out really well. It was a little nerve-wracking there for a minute, but all in all, I'd say I'm pleased. I don't know that I'd have them hold anything really heavy, but anyway, now start getting everything plugged back in and getting the network back up. Wish me luck. Okay, so I know it's, if you look at it, it's probably not much of a change to you. It still looks like a rat's nest of wires. Yeah, I'm waiting on a new roofing or ceiling tile to come in. No, everything is separated. The goal today was to get the new patch panel in, which I did, and that is as you can see, the old patch panel was a wired. This one has got, whatever they call those things. I'm so tired, folks, I can't hardly think straight. So what I wanted to do was replace this behemoth that is so hard to wire. If you've ever had to wire one of these things, it's a real pain in the ass. So I wanted to replace that with a Keystone jack panel, which I've done, and I've terminated all the ends and renamed everything. So I got here at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's about 9 o'clock now, so that took most of the time. And then I wanted to get my things like my power strip back on here. I had to rob cage nuts the last time I was here at this client. And these these new rack studs work really, really well. I'm glad Willie Howe turned me on to those. Him and others. They've been after me for a year now to get to try these. And you can see I'm using them on both switches, and they work phenomenally well. So we've got everything labeled up here. And just for those of you who don't know, we have, we label all of our connections and everything here so I can know where stuff is. And then here's the front of the rack, just kind of looking at it. The other thing I got done was wall plates. So all the ceiling tiles are back up. We did that last time. And I asked the owner, I said, please tell your employees to leave these desks out so I can get the new wall plates in. And they did, for the most part. So there it is. So now we have 3 jacks in here instead of 1. Alrighty, so now we've got the switch back in place. So we left I love these things. These are those rack studs. Love them, love them, love them. So I've got a 24 port up here as a spare. I got another 24 port up here as a spare, and here is the, you can see it with your own eyes, the Edge Switch 500 watt. It is running, it is providing PoE, and the customer knows what the risk is running it. We got all the cables tied up and bundled, and we got them going up into the ceiling. We're just waiting on the ceiling tile to come back, and then we've got the long-range access point from Unify mounted to the wall. So everything is copacetic here. We got a couple of cables hanging down. I prettied up some of the cables going to the server. We got the rack studs in here. We got the power plug, what do they call that, back in place. And we're going to be moving some servers around. We're going to be retiring. This server down here is their domain controller. It's running server 2012 R2. So here's what we're going to do. On this Supermicro server here, we've already got Windows Server 2019 loaded on there and Hyper-V. And we've created a Server 2019 unit to run as a domain controller. And then this morning I went ahead and installed it and set it up on the domain, the 2012 R2 domain. And then eventually what I'll do is I'll phase out the server altogether and have this one running a domain controller. Now this one down here, the one below it, is running their hypervisor for the virtual machines. So this will be, I'm going to be replacing this one with a beefier server, and then this is the one I connect in right here for my remote desktop, and this is the NAS and the UPS. Yeah, and I just left the other two switches in the rack, just so I have them available in the event of an emergency. We got some patch cables sitting around here. There I am. So yeah, everything tied up neatly. Well, with the exception of this, we're gonna wire tie these up neatly, get them out of the way, and then we'll have they'll be able to get into that rack should they need to move anything around. So there you go. We got the switch back in place. We've got all the cabling prettied up and tidied up, and so now we've talked with the building people, and they're going to put another. They're going to custom fit a ceiling tile to go up there now that I've got everything tied up. Everything is tied up in the ceiling as well, nice and secure. We've got little clips running down the wall to hold the cable up to the wall. We put mollies in to anchor the screws. We put the Unify long-range access point in place and tidied everything up, and lo and behold, everything works. Now today is Monday, the day after. I've had this client 12 years as of last month, or this month, 12 years to the date. They're an engineering firm, and let me tell you, they're a great group of people there, and they've been great to work with. I prefer to do my work on the weekends, so I'm not disturbing them. And as you can see, it's a one-man band. In fact, I had, on the previous episode of Day in the Life, I had the client actually pitched in and helped me run the cables down the hallway. But usually I do these jobs as a one-man band. Sometimes I have a helper come along, but I just find it's easier to do it myself. So we got everything in. We got the switch in. We used the rack studs, which I fell completely in love with. Now I know what everybody's talking about when they say use rack studs. The switch is working fine. Like I said, this is the Monday after the install. So far, so good. And we got some other stuff in store with this client. We've got some upgrades to do on server operating systems and that kind of thing. So I'll take you along on that as well. But yeah, this went extremely well. And you know, on some of these, I want to talk about Discord for a minute, because sometimes when I go on these jobs, if the customer allows me to film, I take my laptop with me, which has Discord on it, and you can see in some of these scenes I've got people watching me do these installs live on Discord, and that's one of the benefits of your Patreon membership or your YouTube membership, or even a PayPal donation will get you on the list. So if you're interested in seeing these kind of behind the scenes stuff, we had about 5 people, I guess, on Sunday in Discord kind of watching me, just hanging out and giving me pointers, and you know, I shared the install with them. So if that's kind of thing that interests you, that's one of the benefits of being a Discord or being a PayPal or Patreon or a YouTube supporter, financial supporter. So keep that in mind. But anyway, we hope you found the video entertaining and informative as always. Please give us a thumbs up down below if you liked the video. Leave your comments down in the comments section. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and click that notification bell to be notified of new videos when they come out. And please don't forget, we'll see all of you on the other side.